Ladies and gentlemen, welcome to the Experience Creators. If we have not met yet, my name is Carolene. I am the creator of this series and your host today, and it is my absolute pleasure to introduce you today to Hanane and I, who is a certified life and executive coach from Morocco. She is an NLP practitioner and also a mindfulness practice advocate. She holds a bachelor's degree and an executive MBA in management and social sciences, and she is a lecturer across numerous universities in Casablanca, Morocco. She is part of a board of experts introducing soft skills training in the higher education system in Morocco and works with several international foundations as a senior expert in women's empowerment in politics. Hanane is also the founder and CEO of her own company, Learn and Dare, where she develops and leads trainings and coaching sessions on soft skills, leadership, entrepreneurship, and communication in public and private universities. Today, we are going to talk about how we as humans experience life and how we attach certain meaning to the experiences that we go through every single day. This is a really, really special one, guys. So without further ado, let's dive into the interview. Hanane, welcome to the Experience Creators. I am very, very excited to have you. We're going to talk about some really deep topics today, all around how we experience the world. And, on the Experience Creators, we love talking about experiences in so many different ways, with conversations from different expertises, people from all over the world. So I'm very excited to have you here today. So why don't we start with just, let's learn a little bit about you, or tell us a little bit about your story, or what you're up to right now.
I'm so happy to be among your program, and I thank you for inviting me. And I am from Casablanca, and I am thrilled today to be able to share my experience with the world. So I am a life coach and executive coach at the same time. I came from the corporate world, like for more than 10 years in different corporate leadership positions. I set up a mission which is inspiring people from inside out. This is something that stemmed from my own experience, because in order to be here talking to you right now, I had to do a lot of investment on myself and change a lot of things from inside out. And this is for me very meaningful. This is really a long lasting change and not just quick solutions. And I experience a lot of amazing transformational experiences with other people, and it works.
And that's one of the reasons that we connected through LinkedIn, and I was really inspired by your content and the way that you were talking about that story of resilience, and how you have really now have a deeper understanding of yourself, and you're able to kind of use that, what you've learned, to actually then go and pay that forward and help others. So I really want to focus on that idea of inspiring people to change from the inside out. So what are the questions when you're working with somebody, let's say one-on-one, what are some questions that you start with to get them to start to kind of get outside of the very surface level, and to start to go, okay, let's get maybe a little bit uncomfortable, let's dive in a little bit deeper, and so that we can really peel back those layers of the onion, as we say, and kind of really start to explore how we're feeling a bit deeper down. So what are some of those questions that you start to ask people?
Well, before asking questions to people, I need to listen to them. I need to listen to their needs, to their fears, to their aspirations. I need to observe if there is any limiting beliefs. I need to sense the energy, the emotions they are in. And after that, my questions will be guided in order to understand where they are and where they would like to be. And as I said before, I don't really believe in quick solutions, because quick solutions will give quick results, and people they will go back maybe the same patterns of thoughts. my approach is based on a tea approach. It's not tea. It has nothing to do with tea or coffee. The T stands for thoughts, the E stands for emotions, and the A stands for actions.
Right.
I believe that people, before getting where they would like to be, they need to do this internal, inner discovery where they need to understand the relationship between their thoughts and emotions, and how their thoughts can trigger emotions, either positive or negative, and how these emotions can determine also the actions that they will take in the future. So if the person is thinking, I cannot make it, so how can they approach it? That's why, and this is something that I myself experienced in the past, because I started from very limiting beliefs,
Right.
that hindered me from evolving, and I've seen myself as unable to do what I'm doing right now. But you see, the moment we change the narrative, the moment we change these beliefs, we will start seeing amazing, incredible results. And this is really something that I believe in, and something that I tried. And sometimes when you share that with people and they become conscious of it, you see like their eyes are dilated and so, oh my God, why we didn't know about that before? Like we talked earlier about these young people, when they start being conscious of their thoughts and emotions and how the emotions can impact their behavior, they're like, oh my God, yes, I can control that. And they are no longer on this autopilot mode where they, for every single thing they react, they start reflecting on their thoughts. And then from there, people, they start choosing, taking decisions, because they know that these decisions and these actions will lead them where they would like to be.
Right. And do you think when you have that example of, okay, really acknowledging where we are right now and how we experience the world around us on a daily basis, and then where we want to go, like what's that end goal? Where do we strive to be? Where do we dream to be? From what you're saying, it seems like the first step that we need to do is really understand our own emotions, right? And our thoughts, and understand how they are maybe helping us get there or maybe hindering us. And a lot of times we're not, unless we actually think a little bit deeper about it, or maybe have someone like you ask us these really thought-provoking questions, even though we have that goal and we're ambitious and we're like, I really want to get there, it's such a barrier, it's such an obstacle, because we don't understand kind of what's ticking over on a daily basis, and that's either stopping us or helping us. Is that a good kind of summarization of what your theory and what you are working with?
Yes, yes, because before getting into defining clear goals, some people, they need to have this clarity.
Right.
They need to listen to their hearts and intuitions, because sometimes even in deciding the goals or the things they would like to achieve, they have no clue. A lot of people, they come to me and they're like, oh, I don't know what to do. And the answers, I don't give them answers, of course. I don't give them solutions or advices. They have their own answers within them. I'm just trying to guide them into that answers by learning how uh, to listen to their intuitions and the heart. And I do that by making sure that they understand the function of the brain and how the brain how it is conceived, and how sometimes it can trap us also in negativity. So in understanding the function of the brain and how our thoughts can have an impact on not only on our emotions, but can also have an impact on our biology.
Yes.
How from that we can create a negative or positive experience. And I think this experience for me, it's more than just an approach. This is something that I experience myself, because my story of resilience, I kept having repeated experiences in the past. And I didn't understand why I had these experiences again and again and again. And I had no clue what's going on in my mind. And it was that. It was these patterns of thought that kept repeating themselves over and over again. And I started to have change the moment I broke these patterns. And today, it's easy for me to see them because I experienced them. I'm not talking from theories. I'm talking from my experience. I'm talking from really deep pain that I had to overcome, and I can really sense. I don't know if it's a talent, but I connect easily with people and can understand easily their needs because this is not only about them. This is also about me.
Yes,
Really.
when we are, yeah, I really resonate with that, because when we are looking for that connection with somebody else, a lot of times we try to see ourselves in them, to try to uncover how can we maybe connect. So when you are speaking from experience, I think it allows the other person to be a lot more open straight away, because they can say, she's gone through that, oh, she's gone through something similar. Okay, we immediately have this connection that doesn't even need to be spoken about. And I think there's so much power in that, and why we have spoken off camera about that power of storytelling and sharing those vulnerabilities and what you're going through, because that is going to connect deeply with somebody else. Because there's so much right now, I feel like, crap, for lack of a better word, online, and a lot of people flexing and showing their successes, and a lot of it's not even real, and so we get trapped in this cycle of our own thoughts. And so when we're able to connect with someone and see that they've gone through something that we have felt that we've gone through similar, or even now, we're going through it together, immediately, boom, now you have this connection that it was just effortless. Like you said, you connect so easily with people, and it's such a part of that storytelling element.
Yes, amazing. Yeah, I experience that every day.
Yeah, right.
Really, with my students, with the people that I coach, with the people that I train, people, they are tired of having people telling them just theories or lecturing on things. I notice that people, they need more connections and talking from the heart.
Yes.
And then when I start and I use my story in order to connect this with these people, because I'm not using that, I'm not using that as a job. I'm using that as a therapy for me too. That's why I need to connect to these people, and sharing my story is also going beyond my limiting beliefs and raising my level of optimism. So this is so strong for me, and the more the more the emotions is real and intense, the more people will feel it.
Yeah.
And this is something that I experience really every day, every day.
One of the questions that whenever I'm working with clients who, I work with people that really want to create more impact or improve the experiences that they're offering, whether it's their employees, whether it's their customers, audience. And it's the very first question that I ask no matter what their expertise is or what industry they're in, the first question is, how do you want them to feel once they've finished their experience? Whether that experience is with you, or it's with your brand, or maybe you have an event or your product. How do you want them to feel? Because once we can establish that, then we can start to move forward, But if you're not very clear on the impact that you want to create with them, then we need to go back and start again, basically. Because like you said, it's a feeling, it's energy, it's people want to feel something straight away. It doesn't have to be something huge, but it has to be something, just some little inkling, like something there, like a little spark. Yeah, I love that. Okay, there's a quote that I'm currently obsessed with. I'm very much into philosophy right now. We've touched on it throughout the interview so far, but I really like to think a lot deeper than surface level and then kind of what I see online. And so I'm very much into philosophy right now. But there is a quote by Epictetus, and he says, "We are not affected by events, but by the view we take on them." And so I just want to ask you a couple of questions around that right now, because I find that to be very fascinating, especially with what's happening in the world right now, right? There's a lot of struggle, there's a lot of job loss, there's a lot of isolation and loneliness. And I think sometimes we can blame ourselves, right? Not necessarily acknowledge the event or what's going on just as something separate, but it must be our fault, you know, that this is happening to me. This is, and the reason I say that is because that's exactly how I think about so many things. Like sometimes I think, you know, I should have done better, or I shouldn't have put myself in this situation. Whereas, you know, that is me attaching meaning to the experience straight away. And in my case, that has not been the best way to deal with it, because the meaning that I attach is a little bit toxic. But what are some, I think we try to attach, we all attach meaning to an experience straight away, right? Like it's the first thing we do, because that's how we try to understand it. That's how we try to problem solve it. That's how we try to make sense of it and see where it fits kind of in our life. So what are some, I'm interested to hear your thoughts on this, if you have some answers, but what are some, I don't know, questions that we can ask ourselves before we do that immediate, like, attach meaning to an experience, you know? And a lot of time that shows up in judgment, right? So I'm wondering if you have some kind of thoughts on that. I'm very intrigued.
Well, your questions is very deep indeed, and it is really aligned with my approach, my T approach, because you see, there you talked about the event, the experience, and you talked about the meaning, and this is also goes to the thought, the event, the trigger, and how we interpret the things. And some people may add into the event a lot of distorted thinking, a lot of mind reading, a lot of why me, why them.
Yes.
And it changes really the whole experience. And I know what I'm talking about, because after the loss of my health vision, I was like, why me? Why I have to experience this? And the whole experience changed. It has a really very negative meaning, because I couldn't see anything except that was unfair. Why I have to experience all that? And you see, that's why recognizing the connection between the thoughts or the event or the challenge or the crisis with the interpretation that we keep repeating to ourselves, and how all these create the results or the reality that we will be experiencing, is enormous. Because this is what shifted my life. Because I stopped that narrative, I stopped that misinterpretation, and I changed that into, how can I turn this pain into gain? And how can I turn this challenge into something bigger? And how can I just learn from this lesson? And that this proves that this pandemic, we are all experiencing the same pandemic. But some people, they will look at it as a challenge. Some people, they may look at it as a disaster to their lives. And the way they're thinking about it isn't going to change anything, because the facts are there. They may have lost their jobs, they may have lost their beloved ones. Yes, but is like dwelling on that is going to change anything? No. Dwelling on my past didn't change anything. It just duplicated the hurt and duplicated the pain. And I kept repeating that experience for many years. But it's not that changed my experience. It's really stopping, breaking free from these patterns of thought.
I love thinking about connection, and especially right now where we're all quite starved from physical connection. And we, you know, even though there's a lot of tools at our disposal to be connected to new people, like right now, for anyone watching in the present moment, you know, the Clubhouse app is like going crazy because it's a different form. It's a voice, it's a way of connecting just by voice. You don't have to come on camera like we are now. You can be lying in your bed in your pajamas and just be talking. But again, I think we're all just trying to find like different ways of connecting with people deeper. And so I would love your thoughts on, you know, now, because everything has is incredibly virtual, even more than any other time, right? Because especially of the pandemic, how can we, I don't know, start to form those deeper connections with people? You know, you mentioned at the beginning of this conversation that just by sharing your story, you had some people kind of even reaching out to you and writing back and, you know, saying, thank you so much, that really impacted me. So what are a couple of strategies that we can take if we're really looking to find that kind of deeper connection than, you know, like a DM or sharing somebody's like stuff on Instagram? What would you suggest?
Well, connecting with people, this term is still a little bit not clear for many people, because you don't connect to people because you send them an invitation on Instagram or on LinkedIn. Connecting with people is really, and some people every day they will connect differently. Like they are trying to sell something, they are trying to, they tell you, please like this post or not.
Right.
And I found that very weird. I mean, I was like, oh my God, this is the way people they connect. And I have also other experiences of people who, when I'm sharing like some posts, they will write to me and tell me, and they will share their story, and they will go deep even and share their pains. And I'm amazed. And this reconfirms to me every day that talking from the heart really is what makes us connected. It's not the opposite. It's really connecting without a strategy behind. It's not with an intention to sell anything.
Right.
It's just serving people and creating value around us. This is what people need today. And you see, the isolation that we are all experiencing today is really a social pain, like any physical pain that we can experience. And people need to be conscious that it can harm them the same way as any physical pain. So connecting with people differently is really my focus. And that's why in my posts, I don't try to pretend to be anyone. I'm just trying to share a story that impacted my whole life. And I am trying just to get some learnings from it and inspire others. Because by doing that, I realized that a lot of people that are just waiting sometimes, they just need this kind of maybe authentic post and connect with you because they would like to share with you something, or they need someone who remind them that life, it's not only about position and status and prestige and blah blah blah.
Yeah. Like they're going through, you guys are going through this thing together, right?
Yeah, I mean, today we are all in need of more human connections, more going back to the human values. This is something that I always believed in.
Yeah.
And I had like reactions, oh, you don't belong to this world. Well, I don't care. The most important thing is to belong to my inner world and to be aligned to my inner world. And this is what makes me happy and who I am. And that's why every day I dare to be myself, because I am focused on really what makes me thrive and not following just what others maybe are trying to do.
Yeah, I love that. And also I think if you're not, for those watching, like at a stage where you're ready to kind of share your own vulnerabilities, it's doing, like you said, like commenting on somebody else's maybe post that you see where you see them being vulnerable and maybe connecting in that way. So if the idea of being vulnerable yourself publicly is very scary, kind of start to spend some time and read what other people are sharing and connecting with them that way, you know, because that will also increase that confidence of, hey, you're going through this as well, like, oh my gosh, I'm going through the same thing. And that's how we can share our stories. It doesn't always need to be publicly, right? We can kind of find those other ways of forming those connections.
Indeed, really. I mean, my best lesson in being on LinkedIn or in social media in general is that people need, really, they need to feel this authentic connection, and they need to be, sometimes they just need to be interested.
Yeah. Oh, I love that. Okay, I want to finish. The final question that I ask all my guests is, what elements make up an incredible experience? It's very general, it's very broad, but in your, whatever that means to you, what elements make up an incredible experience?
For me, an experience remains an experience, either good or bad. It depends on how we look at it and how we put meaning to it.
Right.
I had incredible experiences in the past. It didn't mean that they were positive or enjoyable. They were even very painful, but it's my experience how to turn them into chances of growth. And self-fulfillment is what made that experience incredible. And so here we can, and this is about the mindset. It has nothing to do with the experience itself. It has to do with the mindset, the attitude that we have, our capacity to embrace failure or challenges and hurdles, and also the capacity to focus on the present moment. So we are all experiencing today not different, the same pandemic and crisis, but we are creating different experiences, either incredible in a positive way or incredible in a negative way. So I really, really believe that a shift in mindset, in the narrative that we keep repeating to ourselves, is really what will make our experiences incredible.
Oh, I love that. So good. I love asking people that question because the answers are always so good. Thank you. Okay, this has been amazing. Thank you so much for having this conversation with me today. I know I've learned a lot about, I talk a lot about the impact that we can have in the experiences that we're creating. And it doesn't have to be any kind of official experience. It's just how we show up every day and how other people experience us, right? And so it is always such a pleasure to be able to chat with somebody who is thinking deeper and who is trying to create that impact a lot deeper for people and helping them kind of understand better their own emotions and feelings so that they can kind of create that momentum for them. So Hanane, thank you so much for coming on today, and thank you for being such an incredible experience creator in the work that you're doing.
Thank you so much. Thank you for inviting me, and I am so honored that I can provide this added value somehow to people who will be watching this video, and I hope that they can shift their thoughts and their beliefs and then start daring themselves to be themselves.
Ladies and gentlemen, thank you so much for watching this episode of The Experience Creators. If you liked the video, if you found it valuable, inspiring, and you now have some new tools at your disposal to help bring the experience that you offer to life, make sure to like the video down below. Also, make sure that you subscribe and turn on your post notifications so that you are made aware the next time an expert graces the Experience Creator stage. Don't forget, everyone, that one great experience has the potential to change someone's world.